Putin invited the Chinese and American heads of state to attend the Russian victory parade on May 9th. This year marks the 80th anniversary of the victory of the anti-fascist war. The United States, Europe, Russia, and China will all hold grand celebrations. World War II was the largest and most far-reaching war in human history, and it is also the cornerstone of the current international order. The United States, Russia, Britain, China, and France were the five major allies in World War II and the main force in defeating the fascist Axis, so they became permanent members of the UN Security Council. The United States made the greatest contribution, so the headquarters of the United Nations is located in New York. The Soviet Union was the main force in defeating Germany, so it was able to establish the Soviet and the Eastern European group to confront the West. China also played an important role in the war against Japan and received strong support from President Roosevelt to become a world power. Many Indians expressed on YouTube that India should become a permanent member of the Security Council, which often attracted ruthless ridicule from other countries. The reason is simple. India was a British colony during World War II, or in plain words, a servant of Britain, not a victorious country. No matter how France and Britain decline, as long as the United Nations still exists, India will not be able to replace them. Is it feasible to add a seat? Of course not. The status of a permanent member is a symbol of comprehensive national strength. It is earned by the blood of these countries on the battlefield and cannot be obtained by bragging. Putin invited Trump and Xi Jinping for a simple reason: to attend the victory parade of World War II, which is a ceremonial event between the three victorious countries. Of course, he can also invite Modi, but when Modi arrives in Moscow, he can only be a spectator and will never be able to go on stage. Xi Jinping and Trump can give speeches, telling about the friendship of several countries in World War II and commemorate the martyrs who sacrificed. Assuming Putin gives Modi a chance to give a speech, what can he say? How many countries in the world care about whether the Bharat Empire invented AI and artificial satellites in ancient times? Who will pay attention to their love story with goats and lizards? The United States, under the governance of President Roosevelt, made an indelible contribution to the fight against fascism. As an arsenal of democracy, the United States provided a large amount of military equipment to Britain, the Soviet Union, and China. The U.S. military fought bravely in Western Europe, North Africa, and the Pacific battlefields, creating a large number of classic battles. Before officially declaring war on Japan, the United States imposed a severe embargo on Japan and sent Chennault to establish the Flying Tigers to protect China's airspace, allowing the Chinese military and civilians shrouded in darkness to see a glimmer of hope. After the outbreak of the Pearl Harbor incident, the United States transported a large amount of supplies to China through the Burma Road and the Hump Route, and established the 14th Air Force. Under the command of General Chennault, it launched a fierce battle with the Japanese army, which greatly hit the arrogance of Japanese fascism. The reason why the United States became the world leader was determined by its outstanding contribution to World War II. It is no exaggeration to say that without the United States, the whole world might be occupied by fascism and human civilization would enter a long period of darkness. So no matter how much my videos satirizes political clowns such as Biden and Trump and criticizes the hegemony of the United States, I never describe the United States as a demon, and I never shy away from believing in the universal values advocated by the United States. The classic speeches of Lincoln, Roosevelt, and others, and their incisive discussions on freedom, democracy, and equality, have profoundly influenced generations of Chinese. Even in the context of the era of comprehensive confrontation between China and the United States, there has never been a widespread anti-American sentiment in China. The Chinese are just forced to fight for national interests and living space. China, Russia, and the United States had a very complicated relationship after World War II. At first, China and the Soviet Union formed an alliance to fight against the United States, and the Chinese army directly confronted the U.S. military in the Korean War. Next, China and the Soviet Union confronted each other, and border conflicts occurred. When the Soviet Union threatened China with nuclear weapons, the United States stopped it. Then China joined the Western camp through ping-pong diplomacy in the 1970s to jointly fight against the Soviet Union. After the disintegration of the Soviet Union, China became the primary target of subversion by the United States and Western countries and was forced to get closer to Russia. China-Soviet, China-Russia, China-US had a lot of good memories during the honeymoon period of their relationship. China also obtained a lot of advanced technology from Russia and the United States, laying the foundation for industry. After the reform and opening up, China's economy developed rapidly. The Chinese government lowered its posture and obeyed the United States and got the opportunity to join the WTO and has since become the world's factory. It can be said that if China, the United States, and Russia want to confront each other, they can find 10,000 reasons. And if they want to ease or cooperate, they can always find opportunities. In fact, Modi doesn't need to panic. Some media speculate that Trump wants to govern the world with China and Russia, which is impossible. The comprehensive confrontation between China and the United States is irreversible and must be decided. Although Trump is the president of the United States, he cannot make concessions to China on many core interests. His term of office is only 4 years. Even if Vance succeeds, his line may not be able to continue. Moreover, the Democrats will never surrender and will fight back frantically. In addition to domestic opposition forces, the allies of the United States have shown a fierce resistance to the U.S. government's peace with Russia. Even the United Kingdom publicly denounced Trump's peace talks with Putin as shameless behavior, and UK will never abandon Ukraine. The German foreign minister explicitly criticized Vance for not respecting European democracy and seemed to be fed up with the arrogance of the Americans. If Modi has enough courage, he can stand on the side of Europe from now on, publicly condemn the United States, and support Ukraine. If India and Europe win together in the end, it will completely change the world's political landscape. Not to mention becoming a permanent member of the Security Council, India can even create a new international organization with Europe to replace the United Nations. Of course, the risk of doing so is also very high. If Europe succumbs to Trump later, India will face a double blow from the United States and Russia, and it may be wiped off the map. But to become a real world power, it is necessary to take huge risks and pay enough. China once fought against the United States and the Soviet Union at the same time. If you can't get something on the battlefield, you are even less likely to get it through negotiations. Now, the window of history has been opened. If the Bharat Empire wants to be truly powerful, it must join the European camp and fight against the United States and Russia. If you don't have the guts, just brag on YouTube and Twitter all day long, you should go to bed as soon as possible. If Modi feels that supporting Europe is too risky, he can choose a safe route, stand on the side of the United States and Russia, and clearly criticize Ukraine and the European Union in exchange for the appreciation of Trump and Putin and maybe get some dog food. If you want to do nothing and remain neutral, you can only accept the identity of an ordinary country, quietly watch others play chess, and make less noise. Just like the Olympics, if you want to win a gold medal and get everyone's respect, you must first dare to play the game. There will always be success and failure, honor and shame in participating in the game, but this is the only way to become a strong man. I don't know if Modi, the toughest man on earth, has the guts to enter the stadium. There is a Chinese saying that instead of fantasizing about the many fish in the pond, go home and weave a fishing net. Indians always like to compare with China, envy China's achievements, envy China's permanent membership of the Security Council, and fantasize about surpassing China one day. But they never make any effort for their ideals. If you can become strong by relying on fantasy, who will work hard? Netizens have a lesson. Masturbation cannot strengthen the body, and fantasies cannot strengthen the country. The man who likes to wear skirts, it's time to quit your bad habits.